everybody I know who's married right now, they're married to broke-ass niggas.
This is why I'm all about gatekeeping the culture, because once you start to let infiltrators into your culture without them doing their due diligence or background knowledge, they start to do dumb stuff like this. What's going on, everybody? Look, let's get into the meat and potatoes of TikTok user Lilly, who's running around saying the N-word. Now, we're not new to non-black people using black culture in order to get some sort of leg up. Just a couple weeks ago, there was another YouTuber who claimed that he had learned that he had some black lineage and basically did the same thing on his own platform.
Turns out, my great-great-great-great-great-grandparents were slaves during the Ottoman Empire. I've been wondering what makes a person get the permission to say the N-word.
And we can look at other examples like Miley Cyrus, like Post Malone, hell, even Eminem, or a bunch of other people who have been cosplaying and dibbling-dabbling in black culture throughout the years that black culture has existed, just to get a leg up in this community, kick it in its back, and then go on with their day. It's nothing new. But this is just the latest and greatest case of this young woman named Lilly who is going around the internet trying to stir up some rage so she can ultimately make a career shift.
So all those nerds in high school, like the weird theater kids and the anime people, and so they've grown up now, and they're the ones making the laws. They're the Mark Zuckerbergs. They're the Faucis of the world, of fucking nerds. Those fucking dorks that never got laid in high school, and they've got a major chip on their shoulder against the normies. That's why you see all these fat ass fucks making laws. Oh, you can be obese and anorexic. Okay, sure.
Now, if we watch that video again and again and again, you can see how fake it is, how unreal she seems in this commentary or whatever the case may be. Another thing to point out is that it is an election year, so there's going to be a rise of political juiced content, you know, using keywords, leftist, right-wing, Fauci, Zuckerberg. All these things have very great political ties to it. We can see how even in sports it's infiltrated with the Caitlin Clark conversation where people are just going totally off the rails and that stuff. But it also exists on the internet, and especially because some of the namesakes in the right wing and political sphere have been dying out because they've been kicked off of their platforms like Candace Owens. That ultimately means that somebody else has to replace them. So in comes this woman named Lilly, who is going on different platforms saying these things and sparking up right-wing Twitter just before election season to get them all riled up. I want to read this tweet from juiceheads turned political commentators, the Hodge twins, that says, "Black people are ready to hang this white girl because she said nigga in a video. Why do we act so weak and fragile? We ready to burn it all down over a white girl saying our word, but then we silent when politicians send $100 billion to foreign countries." Now, these guys are clowns. There's nothing to even say, but here we are politicizing something that should not be politicized. But ultimately, I think that that's in the plans of what Lilly is trying to do. Like, she is trying to get people to push her career into this next field. Something like a Just Pearly Things did, but she's preparing to be like a hotter version of her, I guess. I don't know. And by hot, by no means do I think that this woman is hot. Literally, this is just aesthetically looking. She is more pleasing to the eye than Just Pearly Things. I think that's a fact.
Okay, this time I have a beef with the male community. I give my criticisms to all because we are all about equity and inclusion here, right?
And what's crazy about this video is the only people that I see bringing it up time and time again are right-wing and conservative pages. These aren't even people who are in the black communities bringing this up as if something to be upset about or mad about. Nobody knew that she existed until others from that community put her in our faces, which gives me more reason to believe that she is some sort of plant. I keep seeing tweets that say like, oh, why is everyone mad at this video? But I haven't seen anybody really talk about this video at all. So then she has to give a response because of the forced broke ass niggas comment that she made in her original video, and people were getting so outraged about it. And her response is just as nasty as the original video.
So a recent video of mine seems to have upset members of a certain community. All the backlash just really made me, just really do a deep dive. And after all that, I still couldn't find a care.
You're gonna call us racist? You're gonna call us potential Timothy McVeighs? Fuck you.
This is literally the definition of somebody screaming at a wall. I don't know anybody, like the NBA finals are on. There's so many things going on in pop culture and media that nobody that I see in my specific scope is like worried about what she's saying. But now she's seemingly calling for war on a community that is supposed to be outraged about her, although the outrage almost seems to be trumped up and fake. Now, while saying that the outrage is trumped up and fake, I do see a letter that's saying from Rofi of the Carolinas, some corporation or what appears appears to be some sort of job, says they are here to address the recent sentiments. A newly hired employee went out on social media and said X, Y, and Z, and they don't condone it. They have fired her because of the statements that she has made. Now, that makes a lot of sense, and I can understand why somebody would do that. But doing a little bit of a deep dive into who this corporation is, I still have some skepticism as to the validity of their organization, making me think that, like, yo, all this has to be some sort of skit, like a big skit. I went on their website and scrolled down to their support page where you can contact them, and literally the phone number is put so weirdly that it makes me think that a 2-year-old made this website. And then you can actually see who makes the website, and it's some cheap website. But I'm gonna do one better. We're actually gonna call and see who this is.
Hi, you've reached the voicemail box of Rosie of the Carolinas. Please leave your name and phone number with a brief message, and we'll get back to you shortly.
Now, they do have some sort of voicemail set up, but I promise you, I am not convinced that this is some sort of real organization. I'm still believing that all this is fake, especially because a tweet of hers surfaced shortly after this that says, "Thanks, Black community, for helping to launch my new career in conservative media. You all played your role well, like the puppets you are." She has another tweet that says, "The nigga that was heard around the world." Look, it's no secret that people do a lot of race baiting and rage baiting simultaneously to get people totally upset about who they are. They come out with this, oh, I'm 2% African or X% Black, and that gives me the right to say the word, or I'm gonna say this word, a word should just be a word, and then they tack that on with, hey, they're attacking my freedom of speech. And now you have the next person that's gonna be on Piers Morgan or the Just Pearly Thing show or Andrew Tate or the Hodge twins or any of these political commentary people. And I'm sure when she gets on her podcast or interview runs, she'll say that there's not racism or something along the lines. I can just put my bottom dollar on it.
What has that been like? I mean, talk about the craziness of people just assuming they know everything about you from maybe 1 or 2 videos and then doing a dive into your social media history.
Well, I don't think it's actually about what they think. I think it's victimhood is very, very profitable these days. You know, let's be real, there's not a lot of racism in this country. There is racism in other countries. People can take a word out of context and they love to do that. And so they have to have a racist. So I'm a perfect racist for them. You know what I mean?
If I'm going to be the racist that America needs, then so be it. I'm not going to fall for the grift. And honestly, I'm just here to tell you that this exists. This is, of course, racist behavior, but again, it's racist for the idea that we're going to get somebody rage. Literally, this InfoWars, which has a shaky history, interview has little to no credibility in the matter. The guy that's taking the questions obviously wants some sort of clickbaity engagement farming moment or viral moment to get the day started. Literally, nobody is watching what she is, who she is, or even thinks that she's of any sort of importance.
You're obviously pretty smart, and I look at an example of another lady that they said was a psyop, Tiffany Gomez, the lizard plane lady. That's somebody that understood, okay, I just captured lightning in a bottle here. You kind of have a similar phenomenon happening right now. I mean, do you have plans for the future? Do you even care about this? Or are you just kind of living it out right now?
I mean, I didn't plan on any of this, but it kind of happened. So I was like, all right, this is what's happening. So how do we make the best of it, you know?
See, that right there is proof that she didn't even truly have real intentions or was really even speaking any sort of factual statements in regards to whatever she was even saying. It had no legs. And honestly, I don't even think the conservative media or right-wing politics or whatever are gonna fall for this sort of trap. They brought Pearl on for 2 episodes on like the Piers Morgan show, but quickly got her up out of there because nobody was taking her seriously. If this is all it takes to get on these platforms, which I really don't think it is, then that just spells a bad platform. That just spells disaster, doom, and short-sightedness all around. And then the way that she goes on about answering the next question where he asks about her employer only puts legs to this whole thing being some sort of skit. And now it puts legs to the conversation of who created this skit. Was it somebody that's really smart, or was it just some young dumb girl thinking that she could be the next Pearly Things or Candace Owens?
That you mentioned you got fired from your job.
I'm on a leave right now, but I would rather like not really go into it just because it's kind of, you know, one of those things where it's not all the way solidated. And it's no hate against my employer. She's an amazing person. And the hate that she's been getting, because she's a Jamaican immigrant. She's an amazing, amazing woman. And I have nothing but respect for her. And the hate that she's been getting, that's so stupid. Like the people who think they're all about, you know, oh, let's not disrespect Black people or whatever. And here they are trying to destroy a Black woman's life.
Even the way that she went about answering that question made me think to myself back to what we were saying earlier. Is this even a real job? That was a roundabout ass answer. And if you explore the website even more, I promise you, there's so many bugs, so many holes, so many issues with it. It only leads us down the path of this whole thing was faked. But what this does do is bring up a very, very solid point. Especially in today's political climate, stuff like this travels extremely fast. People are always looking for their viral moment. And sometimes people like to push their own narratives using other people from the other sides of the aisle in order to make it make like sense. You know, to give off that appeal that it does seem like we have something going on here and we have somebody to prove it that is a part of this community. So this should bring more validation to our talking point. But in reality, we're getting smarter. But I will say these schemes and scams are getting so much more crazier that people are starting to fall for the genjutsu just a little bit faster and a little bit deeper than anything. The idea that Pearly Things was anything more than a grifter is crazy. The idea that the Hodgtons or Candace Owens or Jason Whitlock are anything more than grifters and pawns in the big scheme of political climates is just crazy. But the same thing can be said with the artists on the other side of the aisle. The fact that like the Democrats use Jay-Z and Beyonce and all these other people, including P. Diddy, is not only scary, but downright disingenuous to people's faces. I'm not gonna fall for this. I don't want people to believe that this woman is truly going to be some sort of political commentator based off of any sort of merit other than to rile you up. Literally, that's all she exists for. Hell, I don't even know who would want to listen to her for any political stuff in general. I haven't seen anything valid that she says at all. But let me know what you guys think. Should we take her more seriously as a racist, or is she just the next Pearly Things with straighter teeth and better hair? I don't know.